Did you just click on this video and not subscribe?
That's fucked up. Come on, people, let's go. Get there.
All right, it's another episode of Call Him Papi. This time, we are welcomed by another three-time Super Bowl champ, a fellow member of the 5'10 Club. We got to stick together. It's Julian Edelman. As David Ortiz just called him one of the toughest sons of bitches to ever play professional football. How are you, my friend?
Ever.
I'm good. How are you guys doing? I'm excited to be here, man. I'm excited to see Papi. I haven't seen him in a while.
I know, man. I've been hiding. I've been hiding like crazy.
Hey.
But you know what, El? I tell you what, man. I miss your ass on that field, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I like your toughness, your attitude, your motivation. Man, I'm telling you, when I sit down to watch the game, I'm looking for your ass everywhere, bro. You inspire me to watch football.
Get out of here. You inspire me with you always showing up in the biggest moments in the city that we played in, Boston, having guys like you and Manny, and that was the inspiration. I mean, we had no choice but to perform because everyone around us was always performing in Boston. So that feeling is super mutual, and it's an honor to even hear you say that because you're a living legend to the city that I lived in, that I grew up in as an adult. And, I'm happy to be here and supporting you and call me Papi, the podcast, baby.
Well, let me tell you how this business go. Okay. I play with a guy named Dustin Pedroia.
Petey.
Yeah, Pee Wee. Motherfucker was like 3 feet tall. And in baseball, they always want to have preference with big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Pedroia was the guy who, to me personally, he showed me guts. He showed me that this shit is not about sizes. Any sport, I don't care what sport you're talking about. It's not about sizes. Maybe in the NBA, or for sure, sizes matter because, but it's still, like you see little guy in the NBA produce as well as big guy. So with Pedroia, I learned that. And then you come into the picture, bro, and your game was taken to the next level. And I'm telling you, I acknowledge so much your game. And that's the type of game, like as a fan, watching guy like you, like Pedroia, you guys are not oversized, you guys are not gigantes in a big man sport. Perform at the level that you guys did, to me, was one of the most impressive things. Because you know what? Gronk is my boy, but the motherfucking 6'6", 6'7", fucking like Gronk can take like fucking 5 guys at once. That's go under his favor. I'm not saying that it's easy to do it. But when I see you running through all those giants with the attitude, with the effort, with the mentality, I swear to God, bro, it doesn't matter what you do in life, that motivates. And that's why I want to tell you in my show that I'm a huge fan of yourself.
That means a lot coming from you, man. That means a lot. I appreciate that. That's something, I always had to deal with. I was always a smaller guy, but I never felt small. I felt like I was short, and that's probably has to do with, I grew up with an older brother that was 7 years older than me. And so he used to just beat me up left and right. And then when guys were my age or a couple years older than me, like they were bigger than me, it was like, all right, I get my ass beat by my older brother all the time. I was never afraid. So I always had a chip on my shoulder for that. But, I always knew one way and one way only, and that was to play 110%, 150% at all times, which was a strength. And almost a weakness because, you know, the wheels fell off. You know, you go out there and like you said, I'm not the biggest guy, but you know, when you get older, you can't sustain going out there and just tattooing dudes or getting hit and getting up, and you know, so it was a hell of a ride, and it couldn't have been at a better place or a better city than Boston, as you know. You know, probably the best sports town when it comes to professional sports. You know, because I mean, I've been to every championship game. I went to your guys' championship game. I went to the Celtics in 2008. I went to the Bruins, and I've seen them all, and then we won ours. So, you know, that kind of synergy and cohesiveness of all the professional sports kind of feeds you, you know, because we're all competing. We're all competitors. If we saw you guys go out and win, we're like, damn, now we got to pull our stuff together. We got to go win.
You can swear on this.
Huh?
You can swear on this.
Yeah, fuck it, let it fly. You know what? You say that, and that is so true because we watching you guys getting it done. That motivate us to give something back to the city. You know what I'm saying? People sometimes don't relate that to it, but that's exactly how it goes in a city that has so many different sports at the highest level, like the Celtics, the Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins. You know, like when you see how it goes around as an athlete, you want to do something special about it. And what you say about ass whooping, I always tell my kids, there's some ass whooping that are needed. They either make you stronger or make you do things differently. You know what I'm saying? And I had to ask you what it means to you winning 3 championships with the Patriots for that city.
You know, that was a dream of mine. You know, I grew up in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and it's very comparable with, you know, the Patriots and the Giants and, you know, the Warriors now, where it was such a pro sport town. And then, you know, with Bill Walsh and Joe Montana, and then to be drafted with Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Mr. Kraft, and, you know, the Red Sox and the Bruins and the Celtics. There's just so much history in that city. You know, when I first got there, we always heard about the first generation dynasty of the Teddy Bruschies, the Troy Browns. And, you know, so like we always had that looking behind us. We always had to look at that and hear about that. And that was motivating for my generation and us, because we wanted to go out there and make a name for ourselves for this city. And, you know, and that's what good sports, not just in football, but all around the city do. You want to go out and make a name for yourself in Boston, because you know if you do, people are going to love you. The people are like the people that I am, hard-nosed, gritty, dirt in your fingernail type of people, like just hardworking people. And like to be drafted in Boston, you know, I think it was a blessing, you know, for my particular situation of how I was raised, and just the similarities of you know, how I was brought up to the people of that city. You know, I think it was honestly destiny. And, you know, that's why it was so important for me to want to, you know, retire a Patriot and not go anywhere else and play my career for one team, you know, which is, it's kind of rare in pro sports these days. So, you know, that was pretty cool to be able to get that done in Boston, because, you know, this is a city that, you know, like,
man, say the best city to play for.
Best city to play for. It is. You know, if you go out and you win for them, you'll always, you know, they'll always have your back. They'll always have your back, and that's something that that's just awesome.
Was it, because I saw your Instagram story? You were obviously watching the game last night. Where was your mind at watching that? Because I mean, like, you in the pantheon of the Tom Brady trust tree, you're up there. Is that D?
That's D.
What's up, dude?
He just got back from school. Look at him, man. Say what's up,
what's up, bro?
What's your boy?
Good. I remember when you were a little kid. I met you.
He's not a little boy no more.
Now he's a grown young man.
He hits tanks. He hits tanks. But what I was saying was like, you know, you still are in the pantheon of the Tom Brady trust tree. So you got to be sitting there. You just talked about it, how important it was for you to retire a Patriot, and that means something to you, but also your relationship with Tom Brady. So where was your mind at watching that game last night?
You know, I said it before, you know, I want them to go out. I want Tom and I want Gronk to do well. But, you know, I played for the Patriots. I wanted them to win the ball game. That's my team. You know, I got a text from Tom. He was all mad at me because I said that exact same thing. He's like, oh, it's really bad. You know, you're going against him. Like, bro, you left me.
That's true.
But on a serious note, you know, I thought it was, you know, a really good football game by both teams. I mean, the Patriots came up with a great game plan on defense. You know, they couldn't run the ball very well, which that kind of hurt them as the Patriots. But to see Mac Jones and how he performed under pressure, you know, that they may have lost the game and they may be 1-3, but, you know, there's so much that you can gain from a game like this. The lights weren't too bright for the kid, especially with Tom coming in, because Tom is a certified assassin. He wants to go out and murder people. You know what I mean? When he's on the football field, he wants to go out and destroy you, especially in that game, because that's just the kind of guy he is. He's one of the most competitive people I ever seen. So, you know, I was in the middle, but, you know, I was a Foxborough guy, so I was going for the team. I was going for the Pats. And
did you feel like you should have been there? Not like in attendance. Like, did part of you feel like I should be playing in this game, whether it be for the Patriots or like part of you being like, I don't know, I kind of wish I followed Tom to the Bucs if I could have?
Nah, you know, I'm content with my decision. My time has passed. There's a standard that I want to play at that I played at for a very long time. And if I know I can't get to that standard, then that's when I knew I had to hang them up. And, you know, it's a very fine line in football, especially with how I played. You have to teeter like that red line where you're borderline reckless at all times, but it's like a controlled chaos. And the day you smarten up and you're not bordering that red line is the day you need to get out, because that's how you can really get hurt. This game, you know, it's a brutal game. These guys are studs, and you know, my time passed, so I didn't feel like I had to be out there. It's the new generation. You know, I remember being in that same situation as these new young guys, the Jacoby Myers, the Mac Jones, and so on, with the new young generation of the Pats that have to go out and they got to make their own name. You know, this is their time. This is their opportunity to go out and do something. And I'm excited to see that for them. You know, just like the older Patriots were excited, like the Brewskis and the Kevin Falks and the Troy Browns. You know, those guys, they were excited to see us in our opportunity when my generation was going out there and doing our thing. So, you know, that's how it goes in sport, man. Father Time's undefeated unless you're Tom Brady.
You know what? That's right. That's right. Absolutely right. But you know what? I totally agree with you on that. You know, let me tell you something, Jared. When you get fans and the opposition used to a certain level of stability playing the game, you cannot go below that.
Yeah.
The longest the back of your jersey name is Edelman, they're gonna treat you just like it, even if you don't have it anymore. So that's why I think it's a smart, when you feel that way, be like, you know what? I'm done. Even if you still feel like you can, like in my case, I know I can hit a fucking baseball still when I retire. But my body don't want to continue putting up with all the shit that I gotta get through to be ready to play that ball game.
That's the same. I mean, I could go out and catch 45, 50 balls, but like, what am I hanging on for? Like if I were to look back when I was a rookie and see everything I've accomplished with my teammates and my teams that we have, like I went above and beyond of what I ever thought I could potentially do because I was such a focused on what's on my plate right now type of guy that, like I'm cool. I'm not trying to hang on. I don't need the money. I don't want to look like one of those old guys out there, which I started looking like that last year because my body was breaking down. And, I have too much respect for the sport as an art. You know what I mean? This is our art as baseball players, football players, basketball players. This is our way to display our creativity on the field or on the diamond or on the court. And if you can't display it the way you want to display it, I got to go. Especially with everything, I accomplished everything. I grew up wanting to win Super Bowls and went out there and got 3. And I got to play with legendary players like Tom and Matthew Slater and legendary Coach Belichick, legendary owner, Mr. Kraft. I'm content with everything that I've done, and I'm at please in my heart with my decision of where I'm at. Do I feel like I'm feeling pretty good right now. Do I feel like I could still go route some people up? Probably, but we'll see.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what motivated me to retire. I was playing in 2015. We were playing a game. First we were playing at Houston, and then we were playing at Seattle. But when we play at Houston, I was at second base, and I can't remember if they were getting a new pitcher. It happened to me twice, like back to back. It happened to me, one at Houston and one at Seattle. Pitcher change. I'm a second base. You know how the guys that play in the infield get together and go and talk to you. I was a very likable guy. Everybody liked me. Everybody had something to say to me. And when they got to second base, that was at Houston, I look around and everybody that was playing the infield can be my kid.
Yeah.
Can be my child. Everybody was like 19, 20, 21. And I was like, damn, am I getting old? Okay, hold up. We went to Seattle, same thing happens. I'm a second base, pitcher change, everybody regroup at second base to talk to me. And I was like, okay, man, I'm hurting. Everybody look like they can be my son. I'm gonna get the fuck out. I'm done with this shit. And that was one of the things that motivated me to retire, besides all the pain and all the shit that I was going through. You have to be able to move on. You have to be able to pass the torch. It takes so much for us to prepare for the game, especially when you get to certain age. But you have to be able that if you can get out of the game on top, letting people know that you can still do it, but there's some other sacrifices that you have to make to continue playing. People respect you even more when it comes down to it. And that's why Elman and everybody look up to you the same way they look up to me. We retired. We could continue playing, but we're not going to give you that 110% that we used to give you. So here, I'm going home, pass the torch to somebody else. I want to see somebody in the Red Sox. Like last night, I was watching the game. I mean, it worked out perfect for me because I'm watching the Red Sox, and right after we won in Washington, boom, the Patriot kicks in. So I'm watching, and I saw this kid, Dever. I swear to God, I was watching him walking to the plate, and I don't know if that had happened to you, Elman, when you were watching the game, Julian. I don't know how you see a play that is like it's about to happen, and you just transport yourself to that moment, and boom, the guy that is replacing you, playing your position, come through because you know the guy had the attitude. That's exactly what happened to me last night when I was watching the Red Sox. I saw Dever walking into the play, and I told my compadre, she's gonna be a wrap right here. Watch what a bad motherfucker is about to do. This is the moment where players come through. 2 pitches later, he hit that shit that center, bro.
Yes.
I was screaming because that's what the fans like to see. But guess what? 23 years old. It's his time. It's his time to put himself in a situation. I want those situations when that moment shows up. I want it, but you need to have it in you. You need to have it in you. I have another question for you. Why you always got your shirt off? I mean, if I look like you, I will too.
I don't even know. You know, I got a team behind me making me do things I don't always want to do, but you know, you're only gonna have it for so long. You gotta show it off. That's hard work, man. That's hard work.
Let me tell you. If I had a six-pack that you have, with the IG, if I had a six-pack, boy, I'd be walking naked everywhere. I'd be walking naked into a Starbucks. I'd be walking naked into the mall. I'd be walking naked everywhere.
All right, Papi. Nutrisystem for men. What do you know about them? Because I know that you know, there's been some times where I've seen you reaching for those bars.
I love it, man.
I know
it
you
tastes
do.
good flavor. And I also heard that you can lose up to 30 pounds.
30 pounds in 90 days. It's not just 30
man.
pounds. It's 30 pounds in 90 days you can do that.
Cut off the bullshit.
I swear to God. 30 pounds in 90 days. And you can go to Nutrisystem.com/BigPapi50 right now. You know what that gets you?
20% off?
50!
Get out of here.
50% off for your 2 months plus free shipping on your meals.
Yo, come on,
Yeah.
man. What you waiting?
We're just giving it away right now.
30 pounds in 90 days plus 50% off?
And how's it taste, Papi?
Tastes delicious.
Yeah, it does.
I really like it. I've
Yeah,
been
it
crushing
does.
them bars.
So this is what I want to ask. There's got to be a fountain, not a fountain of youth, but there's got to be something in the Patriots locker room to where you show up looking like an average looking dude and you leave there looking like a damn supermodel. Because Brady, I mean, if you look at his progression throughout the years, I mean, no offense, Jules, you were like you look like you were like from Southie. You're like just some random kid from Southie, and then you leave the Patriots organization looking like a GQ model. It's not fair. It's not fair to regular looking guys like me that just have to go through life looking average. It's not fair.
You get a couple bucks, man, and it changes. You know what I mean? You start dressing a little better. You start taking care of yourself. You start eating better. I don't know, man. You know, it could be that Bay Area water. Me and Tom are both from the Bay Area, and then, you know, you transferred over to Mass. I have no clue. You know,
there's got to be something else. Like you guys are like doing like baby fetus smoothies or something.
It's so crazy, man, to see how you age at that place, though. You age because of the stress of the grind. And maybe, you know, like fine wine, I get better with age.
You really do. You really do. I remember watching you did an interview a few years ago where you were talking about what you had in store after your playing career. By the way, shout out to Black Buffalo. You dip. You need to get on the Black Buffalo train because I know that you're always packing hammers. These guys, they still have the nicotine in them. They've got pouches. They also have a no nicotine option. Huh?
What is it? I've heard of that.
It's dip.
Yeah.
It's tea leaves. So I dipped from like, I don't know, 2007 to 2018 is when I switched over to them. But they've got like the long cut. And I think it's great. I'd probably go through like 5 tins a day. But they're all about charging ahead. And I want to know with you, because you were like, yeah, I got these ideas that I want to put forth after retirement. And I've got them up my sleeve, but I'm keeping them up my sleeve. Can you take them out of your sleeve now?
Definitely. I mean, I have my production company, Coast Productions, and we're in developments with a scripted comedy, which we're about to get ready to get that thing started. And then we have a docuseries coming out. We have a podcast that we're about to launch here in the next couple months. So, you know, we got a bunch of things, and I'm super excited. I'm getting my football fix with Inside the NFL streaming on Paramount Plus, which has been an awesome experience. Great for me to use a different part of my brain and go out there and talk football with some of the legends of the game. Brandon Marshall, Phil Simms, Mr. Simms, I like to call him, JB, Ray Lewis, Michael Irving. I mean, it really gives me that football fix, that locker room environment where, before a show, we can just sit in a room, talk ball, and then go perform it on camera and come up with something cool that week. So I've been super excited about that. That's been fun. And then, like I said, we're in developments with these 2 awesome shows. So just building and really creating. This is a time now where I've been in football for so long. Now I get to go out and use my creative side of things that I've always been interested in, but things that I always put on the back burner because I always focused on my job at hand. That was football at the time. So those are some of the things, and I'm excited for them.
Papi, you used to dip when you played baseball, right?
You gotta get my groove on.
Yeah, you got to get it like in a nice little mindset, relax. It's part of the ritual, right?
Yeah.
So I started
Get that
dipping
pressure
probably.
away.
You know who I blame for dipping?
Who?
Pee-wee. I saw him doing it, and I was like, he looks pretty cool doing it, so I think I got to do it now. So I dipped for probably like 10, 12 years, and then I turned to Black Buffalo because I was like, why would I do this if it's bad for you? So that's why you bring in Black Buffalo. Still has the nicotine, still has the brown spit, still has every little part of the ritual that you want from it. Mm-hmm. Black Buffalo takes care of you.
Come and get it.
Yeah. So Black Buffalo, I'm a straight guy. What was your flavor?
I like the mint one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big time mint guy.
Yeah.
Use the promo code Big Papi at checkout
to avoid the bad bread.
20% off your first order when you use Big Papi as your promo code on blackbuffalo.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Going back to the grain thing, what are some of the things that you see making the Patriots way so different and successful?
I think it's just it's the constant grind and the constant chase for improvement and never being satisfied. Each week, our practices were like mini games where, everyone sees the product on Sunday. You have to go out and perform 3 hours once a week. But like our practices were so competitive and guys made each other so much better because we went so hard in those practices that you went out with the purpose each and every practice for whatever the coaches, keynotes for that practice were, and you went out and tried to get them done. And you brought your hard hat, you brought your lunch pail to work, you worked your tail off. It wasn't necessarily always the funnest, but you always knew you had an opportunity to win. And the guys they bring in there believe in that, and they eat that, and they take to that system, which when you get a group of men that all are going for one common goal and they all buy into something, that's usually when you have your most success. And I think that's a huge part of the so-called Patriot way. We're seeing Tom, he's using a lot of the stuff that we used to do together in the Patriots. He's brought it over to, the Bucs. You see how they're answering questions now in the media. You see how they're practicing. You see how they're, you know what I mean? You didn't hear him saying that kind of those types of things before that, and Tom's embraced that himself as well. He's a huge part of everything that the organization's about as well. But, that's what it is. It's about going out and harnessing that grind. Nothing comes easy. And, and a lot of people always say, oh, the Patriots don't have fun. Well, I have fun going on 3 parades, winning Super Bowls, going to 8 AFC championships, making playoffs every year of my career, except, that's fun to me. I don't care about going out and being on social, this, that, laughing. We're here to go out and win ball games. This is a production business. In any sport, this is a production business. When you go out and produce, that should be fun. So, I think it's just that buying into the grind and having a purpose and a process of going out and trying to achieve success, which is huge. What a lot of the people in the Patriots organization put a premium on.
I would love to hear you guys compare the differences and the similarities between 28-3 and coming back from being down 0-3. The difference between a Super Bowl comeback like that and coming back from 0-3, the first team ever in baseball history to do that in a postseason series.
Well, one thing I realized that you know at the time, you can go no farther down. You're already at the very bottom. Or the only choice you have is climb up. You know what I'm saying? So when you are at the very bottom, you have no other choice than to stay positive and bring your A game.
Yeah,
Because you already you are at the very bottom. Like you can go no deeper than that.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. I also think, it's about almost swallowing your pride and not trying to win everything back in one play. Or it's literally about just going and doing your job each and every play. And let's just see where it brings us. Let's not go to try to, throw a 50-yard bomb here. Let's go execute 1st and 10, get us in 2nd and medium, then get it to 3rd and short, and then let's play football the way we know how to play football, which got us here. That's the way we had to play, and once the nerves get settled and guys all buy in and everyone starts to do everything they have to do, that's usually when the best things happen. And that's what happened. And it was pretty crazy on what you guys did. And it was pretty crazy on what we did. But I think that's a tribute to the mental toughness of those teams to go out and do that. I mean, that's really what it's about. It's about how they prepared, how we prepared, getting to that particular situation, believing in each other, being accountable, being dependable, being reliable, and not letting the moment get too big, and really harnessing your craft and what you have to do each and every play to go out and perform and execute what you have to do. So I think that's what it helped for us. I mean, that was insane. I remember that. When you guys
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Julian, when you to player from when you talk to player from some of the team, because I'm gonna ask you this question because I put myself in those shoes when it comes down to this question. When you talk to player from some of the team, did you recognize that making players for the Pat with Brady and Belichick is so different from some other organizations?
Yeah. I mean, you always see it when we have a free agent come in, and someone from a different team the next year that we sign comes in and plays in our organization and sees us in OTAs or in the off season when we're conditioning together. The accountability that everyone holds on everyone, the leadership that's displayed not just by the leaders but the guys that aren't supposedly the leaders, that are displaying their leadership by doing their job and pushing their teammates, the constant competition at all times. Those are the things that when a new player came into our organization, they're like, hey man, this is like off-season training. Aren't we supposed to just, drink a Gatorade, go run a sprint and then go home? No, we're going out with the purpose. Everything is by the book. This is how it's done. If you don't like it, you need to get out, because it's been proven that it works. And that's some of and our practice habits. Our practice habits were always something that new guys always said, hey man, this practice is a little different. You guys really go hard in practice. You guys challenge each other. You guys work on certain fundamentals that, our team didn't, or this team didn't. The complexity of our offense, defensive scheme, being able to think when you're tired, being able to think in general, there's a premium on a tough, smart football player in the New England organization. And that's something that you hear at all times is, hey, if you want to be tough, you got to run the ball, stop the run, cover kicks. You want to be smart, you got to be able to perform under pressure. And that's what something Coach Belichick would harp on to all of us. And, that's probably a huge reason why we've had so much success, and that I believe that they'll get to a point where they'll get to that success again. It's just a matter of time.
You a whiskey guy?
Yeah, I like some whiskey. Look, I like
Scotch, whiskey.
You ever have any of this? Some Whistle Pig? Piggyback?
I've had a little Whistle Pig.
Yeah. So the whole thing about Whistle Pig, it's made with 100% rye. And you mentioned this earlier about the AFC Championship games. How many AFC Championship games did you not play in your career?
Sam, I don't even know. I just know it was a lot. I know it's a huge stat.
So more not necessarily important. Just want to see if you knew. But how difficult is it when you're playing your entire career, having to give 100% for 16 regular season games, knowing that there's essentially for your career, let's call it a 95% chance that you're going to play in the AFC Championship game and potentially beyond that? How difficult, how exhausting is that by the end of it to put forth that type of an effort, knowing that the market demands it, the fan base demands it, your quarterback demands it, and your head coach demands it. And quite frankly, your teammates demand it too. Like, that was the culture there, to give 100% for that extended period of time, knowing that you were going to go at minimum to the AFC Championship game. And the expectation was, if you don't give 100%, you don't belong.
When you're feeling good, it's not hard at all, because that's what I'm a competitor. It's weird. Every time we would go win a Super Bowl, my boys would make fun of me. They'd be like, "Yo, you got the Super Bowl saddies," because like you hit this ultimate high, and then like now you got to go do it again, and then you work even harder because the target on your back's even bigger, and you have less time to prepare because you go so deep into the off season. You go until February and you guys reporting, early April, and you got to go into early April in shape. So like, I enjoyed that. That's why I loved that. That was my life. And being around a guy like Tom Brady, who loved it just as much, if not more, that's what I saw for one of my leaders. So it trickled down to me, and being around a guy like Bill Belichick, who from the day I got there to the day I left, I didn't see one bit of complacency ever kick into this man's soul. And I'm talking, he already had 3 Super Bowls by the time I was there. I left, he had 6, 8, including when he was with the Giants. I mean, he's doing the same thing over and over. Just like Brady, these guys are just ultimate disciplined competitors that want to do anything they can to win. And, that trickles down to everyone. And it did to me. I enjoyed it. I mean, was it tiring? Yeah, it was. But you could sleep when you're dead.
Papi, I'm from New England, right?
Of course.
I'm a Boston guy.
Boston guy.
Grew up 10 miles away from Fenway Park.
Right across the street.
Right across the street. You know what else is from the Boston area? You know what else is from New England? It's Whistle Pig.
Whistle Pig.
And I know you love Whistle Pig because I know that they take care of you. I know that you took home some bottles today from the office. Congratulations on your haul.
I'm so happy. I can't wait for my birthday to show up.
Yeah, mid-November, having a party at Papi's house. It'll probably be sponsored by Whistle Pig. They're 100% rye.
Even the pool gonna take like Whistle Pig. Just to let you know.
100% rye whiskey. They're made in New England. Tastes great. It's absolutely amazing. Go get yourself some Whistle Pig at whistlepigwhiskey.com.
This whiskey is so good that you can use it as a cologne. That's how good it is. Whistle Pig.
Julian, last night, my emotions were all over the place watching the game. I got TV, my boy playing on one side, and then I got the Patriots, who are my number 1 team in football. So I'm all over the place. I swear, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm all over the place watching the game last night. But then the end of the game shows up, and then I saw Coach Belichick going and say what's up to Tom And I want you to tell me about, because I noticed something, and I could be wrong, but I noticed that relationship is kind of broken. Because I saw Tom kind of expecting more or than just, high and go. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't there
What do
like
you
a
think
source?
about that?
Was there a source
Huh?
that came out and said they talked for like 20 minutes afterwards or something?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, is
Bill went into the Bucs locker room after the game, and they reportedly talked for 20 minutes.
is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 20-year relationship, there's always going to be a couple bumps in those roads, right?
Mm-hmm.
20 years. If you're married, you got friends, you got it. I mean, those are two ultimate competitors. And, that I'm sure they both wanted to win insanely yesterday.
Without a doubt.
And that's just how they are. I mean, I'm sure they didn't want to make it a big thing on TV, with this, that, and what they wanted to do, they probably did afterwards, that in that 20-minute conversation.
Behind doors.
Behind closed doors, like some mafia shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's how those guys are. I mean, those are two of the goats of our sport. And if not any sport, I mean, you can argue that. So, I haven't talked to any of them. I gave Tom a text congratulating him on going out there and breaking the record and getting a dub. But I was proud of that team. I was proud of the Patriots of how they went out and competed against the defending Super Bowl champions. We got to. I mean, let's be honest, guys. The Patriots are rebuilding. We got a rookie quarterback. We got a very young football team. The Bucs have 22 returning starters. Yes, they had some bang up injuries in the secondary, and Gronk wasn't out there. But that team knows how to win. That's the defending champs. They should have went in there and won. But in the fashion they did, you got to tip your hat to the Pats, man. They came out there with a good game plan. I wish they would have been able to run the ball a lot better. But they competed to the very end. They had
Mac Jones
to win that game.
That Mac Jones kid, wow.
I like him.
He impressed me yesterday.
It was
yesterday
cool.
He impressed me.
It was cool to see that the lights weren't too big for him in that particular situation against Tom, because a lot of guys would have put their tail in between their legs when that GOAT comes out there. And they got public service announcement, the song by Jay-Z blasting when Tom runs out there with his little they gave it to him, that he's getting the standing O. The guy's been there for 20 years. That's his home. A lot of young guys would have been too scared for that moment, and to see how Mac Jones, there's a few plays where I was really impressed with how he handled those circumstances, with how everything wasn't perfect, but he's got a poise about him, which was impressive. But it's hard to bet against Brady. That guy, he's
yes, sir. Hey, I had another question for you, a good one, because I get people asking me that question all the time. What you won of the Super Bowl is the most important to you?
Which one?
I mean, to me, all of them were important, but they mean different things.
Yeah, I mean, they're like children. You don't have a favorite child, but, the first time you have a child, that's the first time you experience that. So the first Super Bowl, you go out there and you win, you're like, man, I've never experienced this. The second Super Bowl, with the circumstances being down 28-3 and going out there and getting a win, there's that specialness about that one. And then the last one, so-called, we were over the hill, and our team wasn't the team to go out there and get it done. And to win that last one, that was an awesome one as well, with the circumstances that were there. So, I don't have a particular favorite. I mean, they all have a special spot. As I'm sure.
Yes.
I mean, you both have MVPs as well. Like, you know, you talk about 04, that's a big one. And then 13, what that meant to the city of Boston, 07. But it's like 13, David hit 688 in the goddamn World Series. It's like this is the top of the top, and this dude hit 688, and his OPS was like over 2,000. And then you've made a game-winning catch in the Super Bowl. So both of you have 3 rings, and both of you have won an MVP in the Super Bowl and in the World Series. It's fucking crazy.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's frozen. I was like, is he stunned to know that you guys both have 3 rings and an MVP, or is he frozen? He's frozen.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back.
There you go.
He's back. There you go.
Back.
What was the last thing you heard?
That David Ortiz is a monster.
Yeah.
He hit 688 in the World Series.
Yeah.
They call that in Dominican, he's the ball of the team.
Yeah.
El Diablo.
Yeah.
Coño.
El Baseball Diablo. The baseball Diablo.
Pop, you got anything else for Jules before you let him go? He's a busy man.
Jules, I thought you were gonna be. I mean, you answered that question earlier, but do you receive a phone call from Tom A? Hey, you wanna join me?
I can neither confirm nor can I deny.
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
I can neither confirm nor can I deny.
Damn. I mean, let's just say hypothetically that did take place. I think a lot more respect that you were just like, hey, I wanted to do it with. I just wanted to be with the Patriots. So respect for that. If that's the case,
respect
wink,
for
wink.
that. If that's the case, yeah.
Fox World forever, boys. Come on now.
There you go.
Yes.
That's a special fraternity to belong to. So, I mean, we really appreciate you taking the time. This was awesome. I think next time, let's do it in person if we can find a way to do it, because there's so many stories. Like, we can really, in a first time sitting down with the both of you, we can really only scratch the surface. Like, there's so much, not just Boston sports history, but sports history between the two of you. I would love to kind of just next time be able to pick your brains and you guys can talk amongst yourselves with your experiences that you've had, because there's just so much history there.
Definitely.
Without a doubt.
You guys let us know. We'll have to make it happen. We'll make it happen. Anything for Big Papi. Call him Big Papi.
Thanks,
Done
bro.
deal.
Appreciate it. Much love and respect for you, buddy.
Same, bro. Nothing but love.
All right.
We'll get
Julian
Number
Edelman,
together.
thank you so much, man.
All right, guys.
All right. Have a good one. Say hi to the fam.
You too, bro.
You watched the whole video and you didn't subscribe? That's fucked up.
Very fucked up. I would agree. We also have a ton of
Homie,
other
homie.
If you like this video that you just watched, we have a ton of others. Go subscribe. Check them out.